Here's a selection of the United States news headlines for March the 11th, 2019. These are selected from several major American newspapers, also from the cable news networks, news headlines concerning the United States. No copyright infringement intended. According to the Washington Post, President Donald Trump's proposed Medicare cuts put healthcare at the center of the 2020 presidential election campaign. He has demanded a reduction or reductions of over 845 billion US dollars for the Medicare program. A significant number of Democrats, including the first-term Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and then the another self-described Democratic Socialist Senator Bernard Sanders, have proposed Medicare for all. And then there's a kind of Medicare for less approach from Republicans who are focused on cutting back spending. What Trump proposed in his 2020 budget, see how each agency's discretionary funding would be affected by President Trump's proposal. Winners, losers, and 8 other key takeaways from Trump's plan. President Trump's budget would keep $1 trillion US deficits coming for years, even after making significant cuts to non-military programs, including Medicare. Trump seeks to slash $8.5 billion from Education Department budget. The 2018 to 2019 budget amounts to $24.4 billion in the Agriculture Department. The 2020 to 21 budget, or 2019 to 20 budget, amounts to $20.8 billion in that department. And already given the fact that the United States national debt, the estimated sum of money owed by the various levels of government in the United States, other public sector institutions, and then businesses and individuals, is bigger than its gross domestic product. The continuation of these approximately $1 trillion deficits per year means that the deficit is basically out of control, and so is the national debt. That many Americans are actually spending money that they have not earned through work. Then again, the United States is by no means the only nation on the face of the earth where the deficit is basically out of control, and so is the national debt. Anyway, if something dramatic suddenly happened, if suddenly the US dollar lost 30, 40, 50, 60, or even a higher percent of its value, if suddenly the major lending companies in the United States and the rest of the world lost confidence in the US federal government's ability to manage its finances, if there was a major natural disaster or major war, in each one of these scenarios, the United States, and of course, many, if not most of the countries financially connected to it, would be in big, big trouble. Boeing had a best-selling 737 and a growing global market. After 2 crashes, the first one in Indonesia in October 2018 and the second one this past weekend in Ethiopia, its reputation is at risk. Interestingly, the Speaker or Chairwoman of the US House of Representatives and the leading Democrat, Nancy Pelosi, opposes impeaching Trump. He's just not worth it. At the same time, she contradicts herself by saying that Trump is unfit to be president ethically, intellectually, and curiosity-wise, but that, as of now, impeachment would be too divisive. And of course, any impeachment inquiry would involve tens, if not hundreds, of witnesses, especially if it proceeded to a trial in the US Senate. Technically, the Democrats could pass through a tight party discipline one or more impeachment resolutions during this Congress. But then in the Senate, the passage of any one of these impeachment resolutions would require at least 20 Democrats to abandon Trump and join all the Democrats to remove him from office. And Pelosi is also concerned about such controversial backbencher Democratic Congress women as Ilhan Omar, who has made remarks which have been regarded as widely as anti-Semitic, or then another one, Miss or Mrs. Tlaib, who, uttering a swear word, said that they will get Trump impeached, or then the self-described democratic socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has made some unfactual claims and whose unveiled Green New Deal has widely been regarded as idealistic, however, not very or not fully implementable. And of course, neither political party, neither the ruling Republicans nor the opposition Democrats, is free from corruption or potentially impeachable offenses. And Nancy Pelosi, as the titular leader of the party in the US House of Representatives, is trying to hold it somehow together. And probably she would prefer Trump to be voted out of office in November 2020 and by a clear margin, so that Trump could not credibly launch any legal challenges claiming that the election results were rigged, rather than he's being impeached by a coalition of Democrats and then moderate Republicans, because then he would basically claim that, just like Clinton claimed 2 decades ago, that it would be a politically motivated and a personally motivated, not a morally, let alone religiously motivated impeachment trial against him. The fix: is this the end of the movement to impeach Trump? Pelosi's remarks draw swift rebuke from fellow Democrats. Fox News host Tucker Carlson uses racist and homophobic language in a second wave of damaging audio. In one instance in 2008, Carlson lamented that everyone's embarrassed to be a white man, before stating white men deserve credit for creating civilization and stuff. Why can't Fox apologize? Amid Carlson and Pirro controversies, the network won't back down. Then to the USA Today website. Virginia woman wins lottery 30 times in one day. How to get free pancakes at IHOP on Tuesday. Is Alaska facing the end of its ferry system? A mother charged after children drown trapped inside a sports car. By Silicon Valley, black techies move to Atlanta. California officials identify a dead girl's body. US Secretary of State or Foreign Minister Mike Pompeo accuses Cuba and Russia of propping up the dictatorial Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. A man who killed his family is up for parole. New HBO documentary tracks serial case. In Minnesota and Wisconsin, snow collapses. When the Mueller report drops, a fight ensues. Experts advise tips to lower blood sugar naturally. Then to New York Times. Trump proposes a record 4.75 trillion US dollar budget. He would like to increase the military spending and deeply cut the domestic programs. However, as the Washington Post reported, the deficit would still stay around $1 trillion per year. It has little chance of becoming law because Congress controls spending and Democrats control the House. Incendiary National Rifle Association videos find new critics, NRA leaders. NRA TV, the gun rights group's streaming service, has been a potent voice for the organization and a central part of its messaging apparatus. But some leaders are questioning the site's rhetoric. Their reassessment underscores a debate within the NRA over how broad its activism should be. New obstacle to legal cannabis, black lawmakers. A plan to tax multi-million-dollar second homes in New York City has rapidly moved closer to reality. Top officials resigned from troubled Texas charity for migrants. Then the Chicago Tribune. The man accused of McHenry County deputy is not a monster, relative says after court hearing in Rockford. Lori Lightfoot questions why Tony Preckwinkle brought up sexual orientation in debate. Chicago is holding its mayoral election and probably also its city council election. Illinois income tax calculator. How would Governor J.B. Pritzker's proposed graduated income tax affect you? Former U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Dennis Hastert didn't want lawyers involved in hush money pact abuse, victim says in deposition. An ex-Chicago police sergeant ran a crew of corrupt police officers who robbed drug dealers. After 15 years on the run, he has been convicted. A Chicago-based marijuana company is being bought for $850 million. Then to the Miami Herald. Joe Auer, who scored the first touchdown in Miami Dolphins history, dies at 77. Jeb Bush's Super Political Action Committee hit with massive fine after taking $1.3 million in illegal money. Stoneman Douglas Golf to be featured on TV. Starfighter Conor McGregor arrested on Miami Beach accused of smashing fans' phone. Why Miami won't be hosting the 2020 Democratic Convention and Milwaukee will. Then Dallas News. Dallas County reports 12th and 13th flu deaths of the season. Police captured 2 robbery suspects who fled along the Interstate 30, then ran into forests. U.S. Embassy cautions spring breakers traveling to Mexico. 17-year-old girl claimed in video she'd be the next school shooter, Hood County authorities say. Storms could bring hail, strong winds during a rainy week in Dallas-Fort Worth. Teacher groups give Texas Republican leaders an education report card as session's midpoint nears. Incomplete. Then Los Angeles Times. University of Southern California stunned after music student and son of an Oakland councilwoman fatally shot near campus. Accidental alcohol poisoning caused death of UC Irvine student after party, coroner says. The rich keep moving to California. It's the poor and middle class who are departing. Dover Street Market's new beginning continues to shake up the LA scene. Then to the Seattle Times. End of the Seattle boom. Flow of new residents to King County on the decline, records show. Joe Biden tops 2020 Iowa Democratic presidential poll. Navy rejects call for more monitoring of Growler jet training on Whidbey Island. The Seattle City Council to remove the Ave from plan to upzone neighborhoods. New rooftop bar in Seattle's U District has stunning views of the Olympics and the Cascades. Now to CNN International. Federal Aviation Administration to issue a global notice regarding the Boeing MAX in wake of Ethiopia crash. US warns Germany Huawei tech has to go. Officer killed by colleague playing with gun. Tesla hiking prices after U-turn on closures. Serena Williams forced to quit match while losing. Trump changes the story on Tim Apple. Brooke Baldwin chides Fox News hosts for vile rhetoric. New York to open one of the world's highest observation decks. Samantha Vinograd. Trump's double standard with despots needs to stop. Surprise visitor crushes Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez panel. The twin sisters breaking barriers in the trucking industry.